This episode of the Southwest of Center podcast is being brought to you by our exclusive sponsor, Cochise Country Music Festival, March 20th through the 22nd at the Forever Ranch in Benson. Country Western headliners include Rodney Atkins on Friday, Tracy Byrd on Saturday, and Mark Chestnut on Sunday. Gates open at 1 p.m. daily. There's RV and other camping. Friday and Saturday, there will be an after party until 1 a.m. Go to CochesCountryFest.com. That's CochesCountryFest.com for more information and tickets. The state of Arizona is being told it's going to have to cut its water use from the Central Arizona Project by 17% through September and then 27% after that. How can that even be done? Let's go. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Jeff Oldfather, for this episode of the Southwest of Center podcast. We have our very special guest who's back for the third time this legislative session, Lupe Diaz, and he wants to keep us posted on everything legislative, and the water issue is huge. We're actually going to set that one aside for a few minutes, and we're going to start with an update on something that we've already discussed. By the way, thanks for being here.
Right?
Yeah. You drove down from Phoenix and came right here for the podcast.
Right.
You really feel strongly about keeping people in the loop. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Lupe, we're going to talk about the conformity bill, where we're at with that. Arizona Attorney General Kris Mayes and her practice of the nuisance laws,
Right.
which is just totally over the top. We're also going to talk about the ranchers out in the Pierce area who are dealing with harassment because they're running their cattle on open range and what that means.
Right.
And then we'll get back to the water issue, okay?
Sounds good.
We
Thank you.
got a lot of ground to cover. What week of the legislative session are we in?
I think we've just finished our 6th week. And
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say 6 weeks.
This is the week before the crossover week. So
Explain that.
the crossover week is when all of the bills from the House are completed, and Friday today is the last day that we drop bills, and they've been heard, and then they begin to move over to the Senate. So it's crunch time. This week was just crunch time. Everybody's scrambling, trying to make sure that all of their bills are in. Crossover week, then the Senate sends their bills over. We send our bills over to them.
And when these bills arrive at the House and the Senate,
we start the process all over again. We take a Senate bill and we put it through committee, and we discuss it, vote on it, and if it goes through the floor, then from that point, the bill goes over to the governor. Yep.
Now, at this point, Lupe, do they include any amendments? And there are further amendments that come from each house, from the House and the Senate.
There will be amendments. There will be strike everything bills. There'll be that kind of activity taking place. Yeah, they can still be amended.
Okay.
So it's not, so the House and the Senate still have an opportunity to continue to move their business. We are now over, and I can't remember the number, but it's well over 2,000 bills.
What?
Yes.
Oh my. How many last legislative session? It seems that's a high number.
This is a record. We have set a state record. I think that we're now in the series. We're in the 4,000 series. So the Senate uses the odd numbers, and the House uses the even numbers.
Yeah.
And we're now in the 4,000. So I think the number that I read last was like 2,200 and maybe 27, something like that.
As a record. But it seems to me that past legislative sessions, when they got to 1,200, that was a lot.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, this is historic. This is a historic.
Are you going to be able to work? There's no way the legislature is going to be able to work through all of those within the 100-day time limit.
So one of the things, I'm chairman of Land, Agriculture, and Rural Affairs. So out of the 60 members that we have there are 16 of us who are chairman. And so there's chairman of commerce, there's, health and human services, and, there's just several of us, 16 of us. And what we have the ability to go ahead and look at a bill and say, no, this is not a good bill. And what we do is we actually put it in file 13. We trash those. And we
summarily executed.
yeah, and we have the power to do that, which helps reduce some of those numbers. And then several members like myself, I had a couple of bills that had to do with the firefighters,
right?
And their workers' comp because of the presumptive cancer rates. And I started the conversation. My two bills that I started were half baked, and I knew that they were half baked when I dropped them.
You wanted to get them on the table, though.
I started getting them on the table, but it started the discussion with the people who could really work this thing out. And yesterday we passed a bill that will be able to help that out. So it was really good. And it did start the discussion. I had a lot of insurance people in my office talking to me about, we can't do this, we can't do that. Well, I was telling them, well, figure it out, give me the language and we'll move with it. So they moved over to another member who understands this insurance stuff really well. So once I heard that, then I started making sure that I paid attention to that. And it did, and it will begin to fix that for the rural firefighters. Their premiums have gone through the roof.
I know.
So, yeah, you talked to...
I have a lot of firefighters following me now because I'm doing regular updates on the Scal J6 situation.
Right.
And a couple of them have talked to me about this very issue. But,
Yep.
Well, listen, you've given us a good glimpse into the sausage making, which is always brutal. And it seems it's very brutal this session. But so let's jump right into it. Okay, let's talk about conformity. The conformity bill is, in a broad sense, just bringing the state's tax code into conformity with the new federal tax code. Now, the first bill was vetoed. Hobbs said it gave too much to billionaires, the same old refrain. The second veto is still being negotiated. Has it been? It's been vetoed, and now we're into another negotiation.
So it's been vetoed. So now...
Twice.
It's been vetoed twice.
Right.
Yeah. And the second one, we gave her, all we did was we went to full conformity. What the governor did is she went ahead and the Department of Revenue, which is one of her departments, went ahead and issued all of the documents that residents need to file, and that was a huge mistake because now, when what we were saying at the first round was that now that you've done that, it doesn't match what we just proposed and what you're proposing to us. It didn't match.
Right.
So she vetoed that first one. We went ahead and said, okay, we're gonna help the citizens out here. We're gonna go full conformity and match the documents that are out there. We still can do that. Still afford some of the tax breaks for bringing people into the state of Arizona. And it can work. So that was vetoed, and part of the reason was because she wants to give more to the social programs. She wants to expand some of the social welfare, SNAP, some of those Medicare kind of things that we can't do that.
You're trying to hold the line on that now. Go
Right?
ahead.
So where we're at with that, we're going to let that set, and now we're working on the supplementals, and that when I say the supplementals is that we have a baseline budget, which is our routine expenditures. Those are pretty much set. Now the supplements are what we want to add into that, or we want to create more new things. Now what we're looking at, we have about a $500 million plus on our budget. However, surplus. But the conformity bill is going to bring that down by about 400, and I thought I heard about 60. So, and we still have 40 million.
Okay, before we go any further, explain some of the tax cuts that are part of conformity.
Some of the tax cuts.
Child daycare credits.
Child daycare credits, which is a 25% increase. So parents, if you have children and under the age of 18, then you can claim a 25% which is 125 per child.
Right. The credit goes from 100 to 125, which is substantial if you're on a very tight budget and you have more than one child, which most do.
And people don't want to give to, they don't want to pay taxes. If we can get anything back, we can get, I don't care if it's $2, $25,
right. Yeah.
But here it does increase about 125 by 25%, which is $25.
Okay.
Now for the seniors, seniors who are over 60,
$6,000 tax credit off the top.
Right, of their 401ks, Roths, and 401ks. So if you're withdrawing that as pension, then you're going to get that tax free. And then we're also working on. Now
I need to point out that's federal and state once this is completed.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's a heck of a tax incentive. That's a heck of an incentive to get this tax credit.
It is. It really, and
that's
you're right.
a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. So you put those two together, you're getting a lot of money.
So what I'm doing is I'm mentioning the figures, Lupe, because this is a substantial bill that will bring substantial tax relief to Arizonans. It's got to get done.
Yes, and we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done one way or another.
You're going to get it done by keeping those key tax reductions in it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we have to. It's the federal conformity. We've got to comply to that so that everybody, and the documents are already out there.
Well, you know what? Well, enough on that. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Tell you what, when we wrap up the session, let's tell people what was accomplished and what they can expect, because by then it'll be past conjecture.
Right.
We'll know what they're getting.
Yeah. Right. And also, I do want to mention that no tax on overtime.
Oh, right. That's a biggie.
That's another big one. Now, we did pass the no tax on tips last year. Mm-hmm. So this year we will have the no tax on overtime. So
okay, great, good. Well,
it's going to be good for the residents. Really
when
great.
we get it.
When we get it. Yeah.
Now, I've been reading a little bit about Arizona Attorney General Kris Mayes,
right,
and the nuisance laws, which we've discussed,
right.
Which is like if you're living next to a guy and his dog is barking all the time, it's a nuisance, so you can try and, mitigate that.
Right.
But what Mayes is doing is using the nuisance laws way over the top. Is what's happening in Pierce with the ranchers, is that a misuse of the nuisance laws?
It is. It is.
Okay, let's cover what's happening real quick.
Okay.
Ranchers are running on open range. The definition of open range in the state of Arizona means that if you're a neighbor and you don't want those cattle coming on your property, you have to fence it. Not the rancher.
Right.
Because it's an open range state.
Right.
However, that's not being done. And so some ranchers are being sued?
They're being investigated and they're getting subpoenaed.
There was a complaint.
Yeah. So, and I want to, let me go ahead and give you a prelude to this.
Okay.
One of the things that, with, so there's some critics out there that are talking about, that we're just coming against the Attorney General over certain projects, and that's not true. One of my job, I was elected to represent the people in
LD19.
LD19.
Yes, I should have mentioned that.
Our district, which is Cochise, Graham, Greeley, Santa Cruz, and part of Pima counties.
It's a big district.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm the chairman to the Land, Agriculture, and Rural Affairs.
The key there being rural. And it's a mostly rural district.
It's mostly rural district.
A lot of ranchers, agriculture.
Yeah. So I was elected to represent the people. And I've been told, we the people want you to do such and such. And I look at them and I said, well, you know what? When you elected me to represent you at the state of Arizona under a framework of what is called the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and the laws of Arizona. Mm-hmm. I can't go outside of that.
You took an oath.
I took an oath. I took an oth. So with that,
and you take the oath seriously,
of course,
unlike a lot of people at the state and federal level.
Yes, I do, because an oath is.
I know you're a constitutionalist.
I am. I am
you are.
Yes, I am a constitutionalist.
Proud.
Yes,
and I'm proud of
Christian
you.
Constitutional conservative.
There you go.
Yeah. And so with that, what I do is I look at the laws, and then I then begin to move from that position, and then begin to voice my opinion, my what I believe, what the law says.
Okay.
So with Kris Mayes coming in and moving against these ranchers, she is the highest attorney in the state of Arizona. She knows the law.
Yeah, sure.
She knows the law.
And the law, again, I want to state very clearly says that if you don't want a rancher's cattle because it's a free range state,
It is a free range
on
state.
your property,
That's
you
true.
need to fence it off.
Yep.
Pretty simple.
Yep. So there was a person that went ahead and complained against to the ranchers up there in the Pierce area, and said, look, these cows are coming into my property. And she went to
That doesn't mean that they're coming into her backyard. That means they're crossing her property line.
property line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
grazing.
think it was maybe 5 acres or something like that.
All
There's not just a not just a city lot. This is this is a little larger piece of land, but not very big, but a little bit. And so she started complaining. So she called the sheriff. Sheriff says, "Look, open range laws. You can't. There's nothing we can do about it. This is the law." So she wasn't satisfied there, went to the county attorney. They told her exactly the same thing. Then went over to the county supervisors and did not get her satisfaction over that. So now she's claiming, this is nuisance. This is now creating a nuisance to me. So guess where she ends up at is Attorney General
Kris Mayes.
Kris Mayes. Okay,
Who's gaining a reputation for using nuisance laws.
abusing nuisance
yeah.
laws. And she's using that to coerce people.
So what is she requiring these ranchers to do?
So she started an investigation on this thing. And
What investigation? I mean, they're grazing their cattle.
Yeah. And they have the right to be able to have them open, and that's why you'll see these signs with livestock and things because it's an open. If you hit one of those cows and it goes belly up, you're responsible. If there's a rural road like going down to Dragoon, if you hit a cow there, you're responsible for that cow, the death of that cow.
Yeah. I know where you're talking about. It's posted all over open range.
Open range, yeah.
Yeah,
it
all right.
is. So now she started an investigation on these ranchers. Now you have to understand the one rancher that I'm thinking about, he's probably earning about $75,000.
Yeah.
That's not a whole lot of money.
No.
And now,
especially when you're running cattle on a large operation, that's
the largest, one of the biggest, most powerful office in the state of Arizona is going after that one rancher. Guess what he had to do? Hire an attorney.
Oh wow!
He's hiring an attorney.
Going to take his whole year's salary income.
Yeah, and now he has been subpoenaed. That means that he has to show up in Phoenix to present
before what body?
I know. I have no. That's as far as I've gotten with this.
Where does this? This is ridiculous. Where does this fall?
It falls under abuse.
Well, it's certainly harassment.
Yeah.
No, I mean the technical side of this is where does he show up to give testimony and what's he supposed to testify to? Yeah, I run my cattle on open range.
Right. And evidently they're going to interview him or something. I'm not sure, and I don't know if it's a good question. I don't know. I just heard about it. I just heard about this last night, and it is a true case. It's a case that's happening. Okay.
Well, there's two that are involved.
And there are two ranchers that are involved. I'm going to get their documents. I want to make sure that I'm able see. And one of the jobs that I have under the Constitution, which I gave the oath to, is to make sure that government does not abuse its power, and we as citizens keep our freedoms.
Yeah.
And so it's not just specific projects that I'm after. In fact, there's several. The dairy was one. Before anything ever happened in Benson. The dairy was one of the ones that I had my eye on because I knew that there was some rattling going on in that direction. But when I dropped my bill, there's a couple of bills, but there's one bill that caught the attention of the Arizona Multi-Housing Association. All
right, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, so. They were the ones that reached out
I like to think I'm up on this, but that one I don't know about.
So my bill that says that if the attorney general goes after someone and they start causing expenses, like with the rancher, he's going to have to go up to Phoenix. He's been He's starting to occur now legal fees and things like that. And if they go to court and the court proves that she was wrong, she has to pay it out of her own coffers without backfill.
You mean Mayes?
Mayes. My bill says
your
that.
bill says
It's on damages. It's the Attorney General uses the nuisance laws and causes damages. She has to pay those costs for those for losing the case or pursuing something that is not provable.
Pursuant to law. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you don't have a lot of bipartisan support for that. Or do you?
I don't know yet. I don't know. The Arizona Multi-Housing Association reached out to me. That may bring the bipartisan issue in with them because it's dealing with low-income housing. It's dealing with multi-housing.
People need to understand that's how it works. You find some leverage, and in this case, it's housing rents, housing prices.
Yep.
And if you can pull them in with some kind of concession to that, then you get what you want.
Well, and it's crazy because what happens is that anybody can complain about something, and then it draws the Attorney General in. She can dismiss that and say, you know what, let's wait on this.
Which is what should have happened.
Should have happened. But what she has been doing now, she created a pamphlet that says at the multi-housing level. So these are apartment housing managers who are getting blamed for not, now she's looking for things like, are these landlords asking for, personal favors, sexual personal favors?
Is there any basis for that?
That's what this, no.
So
there may have been one somewhere along the line, but I haven't heard of that. And so the other thing that she was that now she's got investigators looking at certain projects out there, or apartments out there, and if their tub is not up to par, that's a nuisance.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So
they could have shut that down for services for servicing the pool, and that's what I'm hearing from the Multi-Housing Association. She is intimidating. And she's using her office to intimidate these people who are running business.
Yeah.
That is an abuse of her office. And I do believe that she's using her office for personal benefit. And because we're in an election year.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I can draw a straight line between what she's doing and trying to be reelected. But,
right.
I'll say this is a, how would you put it? A question in search of a violation.
It is.
There's no. It's
a hammer looking for a nail.
Should be the other way around.
Right. Yeah. And not only that, spending a little time with Kris, talking about Kris Mayes, not only the dairy. So now she's going after the Tolleson rail line. There's a old rail line that was shut down in 1994. It goes from Tolleson down to Yuma, and they had shut it down. And in the meantime, I guess there's been a little bit of growth through that area
corridor,
through that corridor, and now they're wanting to bring that rail line back up to service, service rail line, and now some of the people are saying, no, that's going to cause a nuisance. It's going to be noise. It's going to be, but these people knew that the rail line was there, and there was the potential of getting back up.
And that rail line was not. What's the term?
Dismantled. It
dismantled or shut down.
It was not taken up.
Right.
It stayed there, and so now they're looking at doing that. Now this, now the rail line, which would help the profitability. It helps with the people in Yuma to be able to get the product to the Phoenix area and then get it shipped out from there. Mm-hmm. Which helps us all. Where do you think we get our lettuce, our broccoli, and our cauliflower from?
Right.
I walked through those. I walked through a field of what is that called? Celery. Excuse me. And I watched the people picking that kind of stuff. We went to the. It was a great tour. It's an amazing tour. But that's what she's doing. Is she's coming against the economy of Arizonans. These are jobs, and one of the things that I find is that in our Constitution, we have the right. We're a right to work state. I have a right to work. I exchange my labor for hours, or I create my own business or industry, and she's coming against that. When she comes against industries and businesses, that's what she's doing. She's coming against my right to work because she's shutting down work. Is what she's doing. And families want to raise their children. They want to be able to send them to school and afford what they are doing with their families. And this will put it in danger.
What is the nuisance that she alleges with the ICE detention center in Surprise?
I think that's political.
Well, of course, it's all political.
Well, and for her, because she made, she's now suing the Trump administration over the ICE coming into Arizona, and she used the stand, we have what was the laws? Stand your ground law.
Stand your ground law. I know.
She mentioned the stand your ground law
in connection with this.
Yes. Well, it is in connection with this because she doesn't want any more ICE people in Arizona. And, we heard from the sheriff the other day, and the standalone, her mentioning that you could defend yourself lethally against law enforcement, whether they have
wearing
their face,
a mask,
whether they have their face covered or a riot helmet on behind a shield.
Yeah, if you can't identify them.
Yeah, that's absurd. We are a country of law and order, and we all need to honor our law enforcement officers.
Absolutely.
If you do not, if you're not doing anything criminal and you're a citizen of the United States, you have nothing to fear. Nothing.
I don't know if you know this. I think you do. I had Sheriff Daniels for a podcast.
I did watch that.
And, he pointed out the sheriff's associations and numerous other law enforcement associations came out strongly condemned her remarks on that because if it puts even one law enforcement officer, agent, person in danger, it's ridiculous.
Right.
And it's done that.
Right. And so did the Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs come against her words
I know.
So that's ridiculous. So she's gone off the rails, and that's what we're doing. We're doing with that. So the case in Surprise, I think it was political because now she's trying to, again, it's a hammer looking for a nail, and here I think she's really trying to prevent and has an agenda of preventing the ICE agents from doing their job.
Well, of course,
and a lot of people are misinformed when it comes down to the job of the federal agents coming into this area. They're looking for criminals. There are criminals who have been already indicted. They have been deported once. They've come back again, and they know that they're looking for a certain criminal. Now, when they go in and take one, they may find several. People that are here illegally, and so sometimes it does cause a sweep, and there's nothing wrong with that because they are breaking the law.
There's no nuance to it. If you come into the country illegally, you're already a felon.
That's right.
An alleged felon, because that is federal law.
Right.
I don't know what's so hard. I can't run a red light and then say, well, it's my right to do that. Mm-mm. And I don't know. We could talk forever about this issue.
Well, and the problem is, the open borders. We talk about secured borders. I've been told don't say open borders, but what we're doing is we're securing the borders. There's parts of the border that are open. They're still open, and whether they're open or not, I was down at the San Pedro. We're at the wall down at the San Pedro area, and we found an area where they went ahead and the cartels went ahead and cut a hole in the fence with settling tanks, big enough to drive a van through. And what they found were
because they want to drive want to drive a van through.
They did. They drove a van through those areas. I've got a friend of mine who's got a contract with the federal government repairing the fence, and he's getting paid good money over that.
Lupe, I got to tell you, I could take you. You and I both know we could go a little bit west of here and then south, and I could show you sections of the border where it's just fence line.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, and it's open.
It's open, but so secured border.
My point on that one was, when you start talking about ICE agents and that kind of stuff, the plan is that if anybody wants to self-deport, they can. I think that's a good program. The other thing that nobody really thinks about is the sex trafficking that is taking place in Arizona because of that open border. Now, I've just joined a new committee, and that's judiciary. And we hear about sex trafficking all the time.
Yeah.
The fentanyl that's coming through this place. It is just amazing.
You know, Sheriff Daniels shared a statistic. 52% of the fentanyl in this country is smuggled across the Arizona-Mexico border.
Right.
52%.
That's, yeah.
How many states share the border? What is it, 6? I mean, ridiculous.
Right. And I got frustrated this last week because we're trying to come up with creative ways to support our DPS officers, and I'm thinking
Department of Public Safety.
Our state troopers.
What people call highway patrol.
Highway patrol. Yeah. And I got frustrated after he gave his testimony about the conditions that they're living. They're serving under.
Who gave their testimony?
It was one of the. It was a retired officer who is now speaking on behalf of the
DPS?
Troopers Association.
So he must have had something to do with investigating child sex trafficking.
He has, yeah. But it was just the fact that we're not prioritizing, and we need. The Republican platform says that public safety's first, infrastructure's next, and then we can start going down after that. But those two things, I think. If you look at the Republican platform, those are the two things that we really should be taking care of as a state of Arizona.
And detractors will say, well, those priorities are skewed because education is important. Well, yeah, but without public safety and infrastructure, you can't have any of it.
No, you can't. And that's
public safety being number one.
Yes, for me, it is number one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I think
got your work cut out.
Yeah. So we went ahead and cut, and I was really glad to hear that the multi-housing, the Arizona Multi-Housing Association reached out to me because, boy, I'll tell you what, that not only drew them, and it's possible that we may be drawing others as well. So it's good.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about water.
Oh yes, the water.
We're going to wrap up on a happy note, aren't we? You're going to go thirsty. Okay, a lot of people need to understand, especially for agricultural use, the majority of Arizona, actually, if you count Phoenix and Tucson, relies on Central Arizona Project water.
Right, yeah.
Through that whole agricultural corridor.
That's right.
And that is a huge industry. So what the heck is happening?
So let me back up just a little bit. About 1912, I guess, there was a compact that was arranged between 7 states. It's the upper basin and the lower basin.
Let's call it an agreement.
An agreement.
A binding agreement.
A binding agreement, a compact. And so they were to share so much million acre feet of water, and they split it evenly between the upper and the lower basins.
Right.
The upper basin, because it came in first, has now priority. The lower basin came in later, and they were able to negotiate that half mark of sharing.
The lower basin, Arizona.
It's California, Arizona, and New Mexico.
Yeah, and the upper basin is Colorado, Utah,
Wyoming, and Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah.
4 states, 3 states on this lower basin.
7 states altogether.
Yeah.
And some of that water is also in agreement with Mexico. There's a bit of that goes to.
Right.
It does go to Mexico. So because of the drought that we've not had much water come in down the Colorado River. And so we are in and the upper basin understands that. And so they're not wanting to share any of their water whatsoever. And in order for, you
mean they want to cut it completely off? They don't want to share their portion.
They don't want to share their portion, yet they have significantly more water than we do under the drought condition.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't want to share that. Whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting, and that's exactly where we're at. Yeah. Honestly, it is. So we have come to an impasse. And this has been going on for quite some time.
It's been building for a long time.
It has. Now they're under new negotiations, and this the compact with the Colorado River Compact with the 7 states have to come into an agreement. Now the federal Trump has said that he's going to come in and fix it if they can't. Mm-hmm. So that we need to fix that. So. what we're facing as the state of Arizona is an 18% cut in water use.
Which would take place how quickly? Because that would run through September
of this year.
Yeah.
So that would go into effect in September of the 17% of water use. After that, it climbs up to 27%
yeah.
cut in water. So what that's going to do is going to affect all of agriculture, and the Colorado River the Colorado River project covers mainly Phoenix, Tucson, and some of the communities that are lined up along that line, and so it's going to affect something. But one of the things that you find is that when people go into panic mode, like we've seen that happen up at the state level, is they begin to look at all of the other water districts and how you cannot move water from one basin to another basin. That is the law right now. That is the law.
That's federal law.
This state law.
Is that state law?
That's state law. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about basins within the state.
Basins within the state.
Okay.
So you have the Wilcox Water Basin, then you have the San Pedro Valley Water Basin, and then throughout the state they're all named out, and so you cannot without legislation. Now, what we voted on this week was there is a water basin that has a lot of water, and if necessary, we're into a whole new area now. We are contemplating of moving water from that water basin to help the Phoenix area.
Which water basin? Don't mean to put you on the spot. But
don't remember. It's
what region?
It's northwest Phoenix.
Okay.
In that northwest or North Phoenix area.
People need to understand there are different basins or aquifers that are divided.
They are.
It's not all one huge river underground.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we're in planning and contemplating that we're going to go into a crisis. We may have to pull water out of that water basin to help the
Northwest Phoenix
area. Now, and that could be a slippery slope as well, because now
you've opened the door.
You've opened the door for water to cross from one water basin to another water basin, and we don't want that. This is under extreme situations, and so we debated that this week. The bill did pass. It failed the first time. Again, people don't. When it comes down to water, there's a lot of tension there. But it did pass. We were able to get it through again. We were able to get it through, and that's where we're at with that. Now, it's really interesting because there's level 1, level 2, level 3s of crises for Lake Mead and Lake Powell.
Yeah, and
then you hit what is called dead pool. We don't want to hit dead pool, because then the potential, and even your level, I think it goes backwards. In level 1, you can no longer generate electricity. The water levels have dropped under the generators, and then it can go into an algae. It can go into an algae growth because the water's not moving with the turbines, water turbines.
Right.
So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Well, this is going to be, if we're going to have a crisis over this, it's going to occur within the next couple of months.
Yes, it'll occur. I think, and again, people, we fight until we finally get to a place where there's no other impasse. So you have to do something.
It's called having your backs up against the wall.
Yes, it is.
Right? Yeah.
It is. And
with water, it's going to happen.
Yeah. So the rural areas right now are safe. Now the one water district, the one aquifer that we're looking at, that one are saying that can handle an emergency, to be able to handle the usage off of that cap. The Colorado River project water that's coming through, if it doesn't come through.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's some of those kind of things are really interesting, and I have hope. I do believe in a God of miracles. I do believe that, and that you have to look at.
This is a good point to point out you're a pastor.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
We prayed together many times.
Many times.
So I appreciate what you just said. We do have a God of miracles.
We do. And a lot of times we pray. Well, we open the floor with prayer every day.
Thank God.
And we
literally
we pray to God. Some members pray to their own God sometimes. And I just have to go, all right, Lord, I'm
whatever.
Whatever. And but I do believe that there are solutions out there. We've been looking at desalination. Wilcox has a lot of water down there, and that's got some of it's really brackish water, and desalination is expensive. So
this is an issue that we have got to come to terms with. Have you ever heard of the book Cadillac Desert?
No.
It is excellent. Read it; it'll scare the hell out of you because the conclusion it talks about the water usage in these arid desert regions.
Right.
How we're taking the water, consuming it faster than nature's replenishing it.
Right.
But future wars will be fought over water. That's been said time and time again. We're approaching that point of crisis. I'm not saying there's going to be a civil war or otherwise, but we are getting to where there will be legislative wars over the use of water.
Oh, there will be. And the Wilcox Water Basin is a closed basin.
Mm-hmm.
The San Pedro Valley water, it's basically an open aquifer.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got the river running through that, and there's 4 layers of aquifer as far under us.
Right.
So for us, we're in a good place. We really are.
Regionally, yes.
Regionally, we are in a good place. However, you have surface water, then you have underground water, and then subsurface water, which is the deepest parts of the waters, which we're looking at. And so you cannot look water in one way without looking at water regionally. And I think that's an important piece that people need to understand.
Right.
Water is not just water across the board. It varies in a lot of different ways, and then you have to ask who's doing the studies, on the water. So
the state of Arizona has the Arizona Department of Water Resources.
They do,
which I think has been actually doing a pretty damn good job of examining the aquifers, the various aquifers, and knowing and being able to present what we know about water levels and water availability.
Right.
And they all kind of share the same conclusion. We're running out of water.
Right. And the state and the University of Arizona, they've also looked at our waters as well.
Right.
And then we have all the others that are looking at water as well. Anytime a new project comes in, they have to either look at the water resource, get their 100-year certificate of water.
Right.
And so the water is being examined, all the time.
I think I'm going to have Senator Griffin. Representative Griffin.
Yes.
Senator Gowan.
Yes.
Representative Griffin. Representative Lupe Diaz.
Yes.
I have to keep that straight. I'm going to have her on to talk about the water issue specifically locally.
Yep.
And the different aquifers and why we are actually in a pretty good position with our water supply.
Right. And the important thing is that to understand that we need to keep water at a local level as long as possible.
Yes,
we need to. The water districts work.
I do not trust the state to be able to make fair determinations on who uses what.
That's right.
And where we're going to pull resources from.
Right. And she'll tell you, and she'll tell you that she's looking at being. So we have the new AMA that was imposed outside of the will of the voters in Wilcox, but she's looking at bringing in a water district and overlay it over that AMA that says, look, you now can create a water district in that AMA.
All right,
it'll have to fit within the plan, but there are we're looking at solutions. We have to be creative, and I think that it'll be a job forever. So
I'm not
going to be,
every legislative session, you're going to come back here with water issues.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Well, the next time you see Gail, tell her I need to get her on. I'll email her, and I don't like to call her because she's so busy, but I'll get her on. What I'd love to do is have the two of you here together sitting next to each other.
That would be great.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we can do that. That'll be really good.
Lupe, take a guess how long we've been talking.
40 minutes.
46.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I think we've covered it. I love the conversations with you. We have a great give and take, and I think we cover a lot of ground.
We did.
At this point, we have to wait and see what's going to happen with conformity, with water, with all these issues. There's going to be an update, hopefully not next week, but the week after with you after the crossover week.
Right.
All right?
Right. Okay.
All right, great. Anything you want to say?
I am. If you'd like to go over to my website, it's lupediazaz.com. You can go there and personally donate. To my campaign. I think I've got my thing where you can sign my signature page, signatures, my petition for.
Say the website again. Lupe Diaz, AZ.
LupeDiazAZ.com.
All right, very good.
And you can go in there and see what I've been doing and some of that. I got to update it now. So.
All right. Lupe, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely, Jeff.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
So my guest today has been Lupe Diaz, the state representative, LD19, which is a big district. And I hope you got something out of this. We'll have another update in a couple of weeks. On that note, catch you later.